Hi everyone, thanks for joining me tonight. So tonight I'm going to do an eye tutorial and also show you how I do a lash application from start to end. And tonight I'm going to title this Green Goddess Eyeshadow. And that is actually something that was suggested by my friend Stephanie. So I'm going to show you a picture of the shadow look that I'm going to try to recreate. I have a green that may be fairly close but not identical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first start with lashes, and this could be a disaster or it could be really great. This is a line that I've never tried before. So I'm going to show you the lashes that I'm going to try tonight. These are mink lashes. They are, however, coming from China, so I'm not sure about the quality yet. So we'll give it a whirl and see how it goes. Hi Lane. Hi Liliana. And Lauren. Oh wow, Lauren, it's nice to have you here too. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking from the pad the actual lash itself. The lash usually has a little bit of adhesive on the back of it to start. But what I need to do is measure this up to my eye. They're generally too long for me as my eyes are a little short. So for now, I'm just going to set that there. And I think I'm going to need to pick up my magnifying mirror so I can see a little bit better. So I need to cut quite a bit of that off. And what I like to do is, I'm going to show you a little bit more on this since the pack is already here. Hi Sheila, how are you? So the inside of the lash, you can always tell the inside. It's generally shorter and the outside is generally longer. I like to trim from the outside, never from the inside, because this is what's going to tickle your eyes. So I am going to just give a snip here, and I'm just taking a nice pair of sharp tweezers here and snipping. And you can see I've actually snipped quite a bit off. So let's see how this lash looks now for lengthwise. Hi Sylvia, how are you? Sylvia, I'm coming into Dallas. I don't know if you'll be there. I'm going to take another workshop. I think I told you the last time with Terry Tomlinson in February. So that looks pretty good. I'm actually going to go in and measure the other lash. Most of us, our eyes are not actually even. Nobody's eyes are generally the same size. So I always like to make sure I put the lash on to see how much I need to take off. Usually it was my right eye, the one that I just did, that I have to take a little extra off. Hi Liliana, thank you for saying that. They're fun to do. So this one you can see if I let go, there's a whole lot of extra on the end there too. So I'm going to take that and snip again. And I always like to snip from this side of the lash. So it gives me an idea. And there's the piece that I've snipped off. And sometimes I hold on to those because I can use those as extra pieces if I ever want to, or just on the outside. Oh good, I'd love to have a friendly face with me, Sylvia. And again, I'm just going to rest that there and see. And actually, that's a pretty good length. So we're going to put those aside for later. And I just like to keep them in a little case on the side. So now I've got those set down. So, hi Lexi, how are you? I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. My eyes have been tearing a little bit. I have my makeup on, and this is still my makeup from actually very early this morning. And I took off my eye makeup. I did my brows to start, and I just primed my lids actually with our concealer Zero, which I finally gotten in. So it's a pretty light color. And I've just put a little bit of that on my eyes to start. So I'm going to start off with some of our LimeLight shadows. And then I'll be working also with some Cozzette. A lot of you know I've been doing the makeup thing for a long time, and oh, excuse me, my nose is running a little bit. And I always enjoy using professional makeup. The pigmentation is just so much nicer. So I'm going to start off with my LimeLight palette, and I'm going to start with this light shadow here, the Cream Boat. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that under my brow bone. And you can see I'm dabbing that on. Now I'm going to just sweep it through my crease. I just want to blend that in a little bit. And I'll show you again. You may often hear me clicking. These shadows are so pigmented, I'm going to show you what I usually do with them, that I have to actually knock some of the, on some people you may think it's fallout. It's actually the pigmentation that's falling down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight my crease. And again, I'm going to show you, if I tip my head back and look up, you can actually see some of the shadow forming here. Your crease is actually where that eyeball starts backing into your socket. So if you actually put your finger there, you can feel where the eyeball starts to go back. And like I said, a lot of times if I tip my head back, you can see the shadow created a little bit more. So this here is the hood. This would be my lid. It would be great if it would just look like that all the time, but it doesn't, so I have to fake it up a little bit. Hi Vivian, how are you? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some light shadows. I am going to start with my favorite, and this is my brow color, also the taupe for the best, and I like to just tap the brush in there. You can actually see all the shadow that's on my brush. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flick it a couple times so you can see some of the powder falling off. And that's what I like with these shadows. Hi Jackie, because they are so pigmented. Now I'm going to start on the outside corner. This is where I want most of the color to be deposited. So anytime you set your brush down first, that's where the most color will be. And I'm going to start pulling it in. And what I'm really trying to do with this, and I'm just taking it in a windshield wiper motion, you can see how I'm following that eyeball socket. So I'm just trying to create a little bit of a shadow there. I'm going to go again with that, tap it off, and again start on the outer corner here and start bringing it in. Now this eye, when I open, this tends to droop a little heavier, so I usually need to come up a little bit higher on this eye. So we're going to start there. And you can see I'm just going in circular motions and then again back and forth in the crease. Now what I want to do is go gradually a little bit darker. Hi Lilia. One of these days you and I need to get together. I'd love to see you face to face. I'm going to come in with a darker color here. I'm going to come in with Ashen for Trouble. And I'm not going totally dark yet. I just want to pick up a little bit of that and keep that a little bit in the outside corner still. I'm not going to bring this one all the way across though. So I'm going to keep it in the outside, in the V if you would. You can see as I put it on, it actually forms like a V in shape. And I want to keep that to the outside. So we're going to do a little bit more of a cut crease with this in a few minutes. But I like to slowly build the shadows up. So again, I'm just coming in that outer V. This eye, again, because it hoods, I need to open my eye a little bit more. I generally need to come out a little bit more on the corner here to create that. And now I'm going to take a bigger brush and just lightly blend these colors together. It's actually going to pull some of the color across the eye a little bit more too. Okay, so that's how we're going to start. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our shadow, the liner brush, which is great, and I'm going to come in with this darker color, La Vida Mocha here, and I'm going to pick just a little bit of that up. This brush tends to be much firmer than some of the other brushes, so it's great to be able to do this. And I'm going to come right where I can see the eyeball going back. So you can see if I close my lid, it looks much higher up, but when I keep it open, it's forming that nice shadow here. And I'm actually going to just pack a little bit more of the color down on the outer V here. And I want them to connect up just a little bit. So now I'm going to go back in and just blend that out. And I don't want to really pull up as I'm blending out this. I want to keep this in that crease to keep that nice and dark. So when I open my eyes and look straight on, it doesn't look so exaggerated as it would with my eyes closed. I'm going to come over here, and again, I need to find where that eyeball is starting to go back. This eye, again, I need to come up just a smidge more where you won't see it. And I'm going to bring that down. Pick up a little more color. Hi, Savannah. So nice to see all you on here. Diana, how are you? How are the boys? Diana is my daughter-in-law, and the boys I'm talking about are grandsons. So Brandon is now 6.5, which is so hard to believe, and Max is about 1.5 years. And living so far away, it's a really great thing to have FaceTime to be able to see them. So I'm going to darken this crease up just a little bit more and blend that in. So we're going to do a couple things tonight, which is really fun. I'm going to go in and I'm going to start with this color, the One Night Sand. I'm glad Max is sleeping. I guess he should be at this point. It's pretty late back east. And I'm just going to pat that on the eye. And I'm starting with this as a base because we're going to do a bit of a shimmer on top of this. But I wanted to have just a little bit of color down. Hi, Emily. I hope your trip to Dallas went really well. I'm going to probably stop into to the store later this week or early next week to pick up a few things. So what that's doing is it's just evening out the color on my lids. So I am going to take a little bit, I need to find a really teeny tiny brush. I'm going to take a little bit of the crystal color from the Lottie the Dream On palette. And this I am going to flick a little bit because this is a nice shimmer color. And I want that right on the inner corner of my eye. So that's going to brighten that area up. And I'm making it almost like a V if you would on this side, so we're going to get a bit more of a feline look by coming in and exaggerating that a little bit more. So now what I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using some of my Cozzette shadows, and I think we're going to be using this color here, and for the green we're going to use this color, but this is not as dark as the green is in the look, so we're going to do a couple things to bump it up, and there's a lot of things you can do with shadows to get them that color. And this again, the Cozzette is a professional brand, so it's very pigmented, and what I'm going to do with that is place it on my lid, and again I'm pressing in, I'm not swiping, because I want to get some of the glitter that actually comes up with this color. And I may actually take a little setting spray just so you can really see that glitter there. So I think I'm going to do that because I want to see the glitter. It looks like it's a little more glittery in the picture that I had. Well, Savannah, I always consider myself very lucky. The Cozzette shadows are great. They're professional grade, and I also know Rocky, the creator of them, and he's a wonderful makeup artist from New York. Now you can see how that's starting to pop that shimmer a little bit more. So just by wetting the brush, what I've done is I've picked up a little bit of product, and I'm going to spray with my setting spray a little bit. It almost creates a different color. So you can really see some of that shimmer now. And again, I am pressing that in. So I'm staying below that line that we created as the crease line. And I want a little bit more on the inner corner there. So there we go. Now it's a little more shimmery. So I want to take a little bit more from my LimeLight palette, and I think I'm going to still pick up a little bit more of that taupe for the best, because what I want to do is I just want to come up here on the top. So I'm now able to bring everything together. Hi Laura, how are you? So I'm using this more as a transition color, just to bring everything all together. And I'm very softly blending that as I'm applying it, so I only picked up a little bit of product on my brush. But again, the important thing, keep blending. So I'm just going to blend that in so it looks very seamless. Okay, now the fun part, and hopefully I'll be okay with this. Like I said, my eyes tend to tear a lot. Oh, Laura, this would work with any color eyes, actually. On the green, you'll see I'm going to use a green liner now, and that tends to really pop things. So what I'm using is actually a NARS pencil, and I'm looking to see, I think I've rubbed the name off, but this is one of their night pencils. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my lid down, and I'm going to come, and I kind of need to move out a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to come into my lower waterline, and I need to grab my magnifying mirror so I can make sure this is popping on. And this is an older pencil, so I don't have a whole lot left in here. I just want to warm it up a little bit on the back of my hand. So when I say, there we go, when I say warm it up, I'm actually taking it and just rubbing the product right onto the back of my hand, just to get it going a little bit. So now I'm going to pull that down again. There we go. Now I'm starting to see some of the color. I'm trying to keep my magnifying mirror out of your way. So what I'm going to do with that is I put that in the waterline, and I'm still going to come, I'm pulling that down underneath a little bit. Vivian, I'm not sure yet if I'll be coming to the makeup show in New York. I'm going to try to work that into my schedule. I'm hoping so. Hi, Christina. I'm going to drag this down a little bit lower on my lash line than I normally would. And I'm going to come up to kind of connect it. So this is going to be the base for the other green so that I can really pop it. And I'm going to try to, again, keep my mirror out of your view. And do the same thing on this side. Looks like these are really fun to do. This is not something that I normally wear, but it's always fun to experiment with makeup. And again, I'm going to try to pull that up a little bit. There we go. So we're going to come out with a black wing on the top, but I want to start it from the lower. And I'm still pulling this color down a little further. The green that I'm going to be using is a little bit of a brighter green, so I wanted to start the look with the darker color on the top. And I'm going to take a peek at this picture again, and I'll share it all with you again also. Diana, sometimes it does happen. Really setting it with eyeshadow, with putting powder on top, tends to help it really prevent it from running underneath. So here's the picture again. So you can see she's come down pretty far with her green. And I think I need to darken my outer corner a little bit more too. So before I do the green, let me grab my angled brush, and I'm going to come back in with some of the darker shadow and pack that a little bit more on the outer corner here. So you can see I'm just pressing in here. I need to connect it up with where I started the crease on the top. and I'm hoping to get through this. Let me grab a tissue. Hang on one second. All that work around my eyes, they're already a little irritated. It's very windy here in El Paso. So I have a different type of allergy out here than I did back east. So again, I'm just darkening up the outer corner. And you can see how easy it is to do with these shadows. So I'm back into La Vida Mocha from the LimeLight. So now I think I have enough darkness here. I want a little bit more on the outer corner here. And I want to keep that dark in the crease area out here. And we're just going to blend a little bit again. Okay, so now that this doesn't look so dark underneath my eyes, I'm going to take the Cozzette and the beautiful green here. And like I said, I wanted to go with that real dark shade underneath my eyes so that I can pick up, I know this is going to be pretty shimmery, but this should really pop that color. And I am even going to press it onto the waterline. And that's going to help set it. My eyes might go crazy in a second. So you can see how the color underneath here is changing now. I'm going to come back and press that into the waterline again, which is going to set everything. And I want to pull this down a little bit lower. And I'm going to start pulling it up a little bit. Hi, Steph. Stephanie, I named this the Green Goddess, just like you had it on my Facebook post, which I thought was really cool. I always tell people, don't be afraid to pull it down. When you look up, it just creates a really beautiful halo underneath. And having that eyeliner to start really helps. I'm going to come down a little bit right underneath the center, a little bit lower, pick it up. So I need to even that out on this side. And I'm going to grab another blender brush just to smooth that out a little bit underneath here. So now I need to sit back and take a look. I have just a tiny bit of fallout there. I'm going to rub that. And I still think I need to darken my outer corners a little bit. And I'm excited tonight because I'm going to try a different lip combo. So that's why my lips are bare tonight. Oh, thanks, Steph. I'm glad you did. I'm going to try to hop on your live when I'm done this and see you. You're always a great inspiration. So now I'm starting to feel a little more comfortable with the way this is starting to all come together. I'm going to push that in just a teeny tiny bit on the crease to create more of that cut crease look. And the cut crease is really just darkening and just bringing more interest into this part of the eye. I'm still going to blend that just a little bit. I'm going to blend it more here in the crease. I don't want to take anything away or blend it out too much. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to go into liner, and I'm going to use my magic liner pen tonight. So I need to look off into my mirror over here on the side, and I'm going to try to keep it so you all can see. With the liner pen, what I like to do is I tell people to push your lashes down and out of the way. And start by pressing it right on your lash line to keep it real nice and close. I'm going to come in towards the center. And now I'm going to close my lid a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm starting to lift it up a little bit. So I need to lift my eyes some. And just like I did the other night, we're going to do a pretty dramatic wing. I want it to end about there. So I'm going to make my dot there. And with my eye open, I'm going to pull down. And I'm coming over that fold. So again, when I close my eyes, it doesn't look like it's going to line up. But when I open it, it does. So I need to close my eye now so that I can finish that line there. And I'm going to start from the top, drag over a little bit, open to see where that is, and connect that up. Now I'm going to fill that in. And I always tell everybody, don't be afraid that it doesn't look proper when your eye's closed. I'm going to fan that a little bit so it dries to show you what that looks like now with my eye open. So now with my eye open, you can see the wing, and it's really lining up. I want to come out just a little bit further because I think in the look she's got it out a little further. I want to pull it down. Again, I'm going to stretch my eye now a little bit. There we go. I still need to fill this little fold in here. I always say I've been doing this for a long time, so it takes me a while to do it. It may take you a while, so don't worry. Hi Tracy and Daniela. I want to come in a little bit further. I'm going to try to hold my mirror up to again mimic that feline look. So what I've done is basically come over here and I'm pulling up a little bit. Now, on a daily basis, I don't always pull in that far, but that's the look that was in the photo that I showed you, so that's what I'm going to do. And now we're going to come over and do the other eye. I'm going to try to keep my mirror up high. And again, I'm going to press right down on that lash line. And I'm going to pull a little bit. So I'm never going really straight in with my liner brush, always on the side. Hi Stephanie. Steph, I know you can do this. You've used the liner pen before, and you know how easy it is to get this look. It just takes time. So again, I'm going to stay there, and I'm starting to pull up a little bit for the outside of my eye. Now again, I want to map out where I want this wing to go. So I want this one to come here. So I'm making a little dot there. Stephanie, when your hands start to get shaky, oh Diana, this is the most amazing pen. It is liquid, but it's actually a brush tip. It's not actually a felt tip liner. If you want one, I'll send you one because they're great. But what I like to do is anchor. I'm putting my pinky on my cheek here. So that way I have better control of the movement. So now again with my eyes open, I need to come down. I need to come over my fold there. That looks like a pretty straight line, but when I close my eyes again, it's gone. So I need to come down. Now again with my eye open a little bit, I need to bring this over. So I'm coming right over that little fold there. Now when I close my eye, you see it's totally different. So I need to fill that in. And this, I don't bring across all the way. I'll start to angle it down here a little bit more. So that, let me fan it a little bit. Thanks for sharing that, Stephanie. Diana, it's not waterproof, it's water resistant. So it usually holds up pretty well. And it just depends on me. If I have a real watery day, and I can usually tell first thing in the morning if my eyes are going to be tearing all day, I just make a little kitten flick. So I just come out a little bit. I don't go as dramatic as I'm going now. So now if I look straight on, I see I need to come over just a little bit more, and that's really coming over here more. I'm going to come out with that and come down. So again, I'm going to dry that so that now when I look straight on, it's looking pretty good. I need to bring this out a little more to even up with the other side. There we go. And this one I need to bring up a little higher. And this is where most of the time comes into play, where you've got to, excuse me again a minute. You have to just keep looking at your eyes and evening them up. Now you can see I'm starting to tear a little bit, so that's why that's fading, or we're running back a little bit. I'm going to touch that up in a few minutes. But what I want to do is come in again a little bit more on the inner corner to give it more of that feline type of look. There we go. And I have to just keep looking and evening it out. So now I'd say the line's pretty good. I need a little bit more right here. There we go. So it's much easier to keep evening it up afterwards. Oh, sorry, and I keep bringing my mirror down. Diana, I'll send you one of these because I think it's going to make things a whole lot easier for you. Stephanie, you're pretty funny. Okay, so now I need to take something to kind of clean up a little bit. So I'm going to take a little bit of this, just my angled liner brush, and I'm going to go back into the shadow that I started with on the inside. Just take a little bit there. And now that the liner is starting to dry here on the inside where I started to run a little bit, and again, that's because of the fold that I have here, I'm able to basically touch that up. There we go. I want to bring a little bit more of the shimmer color back on there. So these are what I would call finishing touches. Nothing is ever perfect right away to start. There's a lot of blending going back and forth. And hi, Mickey. I have a Q-tip here so I can blend that in a little bit more. There we go. Now it's starting to look better. So I'm going to pick up my brush that I had sprayed with a little bit of the setting powder, or the setting spray, and there we go. So now you can see it's looking pretty good. I do want to pick up a little bit more, and actually I think I'm going to use, I have a senna color here. I want this to pop a little bit more here in the center. So I'm going to pick up something that has a little more white to it and put that on the inner corner there. And even though it's going over that liner a little bit, I can darken that up if I need to. But actually on my eye shape, I think that looks pretty good. I don't have those perfect almond eyes like you do, Diana, so I have to really fake this look in here. And I'm going to take just a little bit more here to connect that up. I'm going to leave it a little faded out towards the center because I like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to curl my lashes. And I find it much easier to look straight ahead. When I'm doing this on a client, I like to have them look down so they don't see me coming at them. But for me doing it on myself, I like to look straight ahead. My lashes are pretty short and puny, so that gives me a better shot at seeing them straight on. Diana, the white shadow, I used two of them. I used one from, the first one that I used was from the Lottie collection, the crystal color here, which is really, really beautiful. The other one I used was actually from a company that I worked with at the makeup show recently, called Senna. It's a professional line. I always say I'm very fortunate to have worked with some of these lines. Stephanie, who's coming to your studio next month? I have no idea. Now I'm going to use our Perfect Mascara. And I'm going to start, as I always do, on the tips of my lashes. Kelly, all right. I was just going to text her today to see if things had worked out. I'm so glad that I saw your studio and had Kelly give you a call. And to all my friends back east, I have met a really wonderful photography group out here. Have all been so welcoming, and it's really nice. Although Stephanie is from the East Coast originally, Kelly's from the Midwest, but it's been really nice being able to get together with some of the photographers out here. Mickey, I still haven't worked with you yet, and I'd like to do that. And I'm going to come down on my lower lashes. I'm not going to put an extreme amount of mascara on the uppers, just enough to thicken them up some, which I'm really able to do with our Perfect Mascara. For me, it truly is perfect. A lot of my friends back east know most of the time, almost daily, I wore false eyelashes. And with this mascara, I'm able to build it up enough that I don't have to do that. So again, I'm going to pull this out. I need to pull my hair back a little bit. And I'm starting with the tips again. And even with lashes, you're going to see I like to put on 2 full coats. My lashes are so thin and so blonde on their own that I need to have them blend in with the false eyelashes. So in this coat, I'm just starting straight on. And now I'm going to come back in. Never pump your mascara, girls. It presses a lot of air back in there. So now I know, Lilia, this is one of your favorite things. I'm going to go uptown. I'm going to come downtown, coat the backside of those lashes, uptown again, and now crosstown. So I'm going to pull them out towards the edge and in towards my nose. So that really coats the lashes. And since we're doing a false lash, Diana, this really is amazing. I've never been able to do this. You know that I almost always wear false lashes. So by coating all sides, here I'm coming back downtown again. Back uptown to push them up, and now crosstown. And the false eyelashes I'm going to be using actually have pretty flared towards the edge. So I always like to pull them out. And then again on the inside, where they're really tiny, I'm pulling them in towards my nose. So the mascara has fibers, which I love because it really builds things up for me. Okay, so now comes the part that I'm hoping isn't going to be a disaster, because like I said, I've never used this line of lashes before. But I always like to test them on myself before I use them actually out on the job. So we'll find out how this all goes. And I like taking my little lash applicator here. So they look like tweezers with a long end here. And I flip them upside down, and I'm going to come in with my adhesive. And paint the adhesive along the back side. So I have pre-cut these. My eyes are all very small, but it's the way that I apply my shadow, and then again with the mascara, that I think makes them look a little longer, especially with the cat eye. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and I need to grab my mirror here. I'm going to push my own lashes down and out of the way a little bit. And I'm just going to set that lash there. I'm going to let go of it now. So now it's just sitting there and resting. I like to take the outside edge first. Oh, and I'm trying to get my mirror out of your way. Push it down. Now you see the inside edge is sticking up. I need to come in, grab that, and set that down. That actually wasn't too bad. I'm pretty impressed with these. So I am going to push those into the lash line a little bit. We're going to let that dry. I'm going to wipe off any adhesive that I might have on the back of the tweezers. And I'm going to come over to the other lash. And I see I still have a spot of glue here, so I need to pull that off, or that's going to stick to the lash and give me a problem. Stephanie, you don't always see me, actually you haven't seen me wear lashes, I don't think, normally. I wear them all the time, so there's certain brands that I'll struggle with getting them on. Certain brands that I don't. And this is another thing, just like the liner, it's a lot of practice. This has a really nice soft lash band though, so it's making it easier. Diana, when I see you again, we can practice this. Oh, thanks, Stephanie. Okay, so I'm going to start again here. And I'm pressing my lashes down and out of the way. I'm going to let go. Let that balance there a second. I'm going to grab the outer corner, place it where I want it, and now come into the inner corner and grab it and place it. And I need to thank Kim Wood. She recommended some of these lashes to me. I'm still waiting for some others to come in. And now I'm just taking the applicator and pressing it onto the lid. So we're going to give that just a minute or two to dry. This adhesive that I'm using is very, very quick drying though, which is one of the reasons I love it. Okay, I'm going to take a look and see how we're doing here. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to take just a little bit of my concealer. And the LimeLight, I use all 4 colors here. I use this one because I have a lot of redness in my skin. This is my own personal one, so it's pretty messy. So it covers up the redness for me. I use this darker salmon color to cover up any of the darkness that I get from my dark circles. This is my normal concealer color, number 2, and that's pretty close to my skin. And this one, people are always amazed that I use this. This I use as my contour. It's a beautiful color, blends in beautifully. So I'm not actually going to use my concealer brush tonight. I'm going to use my fingers. And I'm going to rub it on my ring fingers. Hi, Keith. Aliana, how are you? So that's warming the product up. So when I press it onto my skin, and I just want to clean up that area underneath here a little bit. It's really nice and easy to do. Blends beautifully. And you'll see the coverage is just amazing. So now I'd say the eyes are pretty good. Let's take a look at that picture again, see how I'm doing. Like I said, this is my take on the version, so colors aren't going to be absolutely identical, but pretty close. So I've got the darker outer corners. I've definitely cut the crease in a little bit more, kept the shimmer on the inside, have the green coming down. So I think when I look straight on, that's starting to look pretty good. Okay, so now it's time for my new lip colors tonight. So tonight I'm going to use a combination of Cherry Pie And I'm sorry, ladies, this is the old packaging because I've been with LimeLight for a little while, and this is the new packaging. It's so much more sleek and pretty. This is candy apple, so I'm going to try these together. We're going to ombre it a little bit. I'm going to start with the cherry pie first, and it's a little hard for me to see in my mirror here with the comments popping up, so I'm going to look off to the side. I like to start fully first on the lower lip. And I know, Stephanie, you love this color. I'm pressing my lips together to spread it out a little bit. Coming up and doing the Cupid's bow and the upper lip first. Just perfecting that a little bit. And this is my favorite enduring lip color all on its own. And I'm actually using the tip almost as a liner. Sometimes I'll use a lip brush, and sometimes I just use the tip here. I know, the wedding cake is beautiful. It's one of my favorites to use for weddings, too. On myself, I generally do a much brighter color or a nude like I had on the other day. Okay. So that's a pretty good lip shape there. And a lot of times I'll leave it like this by itself, but I thought it would be fun to brighten it up a little bit. So we're going to grab some of this candy apple, and I'm going to start by applying it in the center. So this is more of an orangey color. And a little bit brighter. And I want to focus it right in the center. Diana, these are great. These last, they say 4 to 8 hours, but I can tell you I had one on that I put on really early this morning, and I ate dinner and it was still on. So I actually had to take makeup remover to get it off to put this on. So I love these, but they don't dry out the lips. They don't get cracky and mess with your lips. Yeah, Steph, I know I can't say that the company says they last 4 to 8 hours, but I have worn them for much longer. And it's starting to dry. I want a little bit more there in the center. Wow, I have a funny feeling this is going to be one of my favorite new lip combos. It's just brightened up the center of my lip a little bit, and actually brought, now my teeth look a little whiter, and my lower lip looks a little fuller by doing that. One other trick that I can show you now that I'm talking about the lower lip being a little fuller. What I like to do, let me grab a clean brush here. I'm going to actually use my lip brush. So, well, let me grab this other brush here. I think that one still has some red on it. I'm going to take this contour color, or our concealer, and I'm going to put it just underneath my lower lip line. So it looks pretty dark here now. But I'm going to grab a Q-tip and start blending that in. And I just want to leave it just so that it's a touch darker. I don't want to totally blend it away. There we go. So what it's doing is I'm working with all lights and darks. It's creating, it gives your mouth more of that pouty look. And then what I like to do, most of the times when I use any cream products, I love to set them with powder. Oh, Savannah, as soon as I'm done, I'm going to post it so you can watch it again. So I'm just taking a little bit of our bronzer color, and I'm going to go over that to set it. So again, you're going to see it's a little darker, and I'm going to blend that just a little bit. There we go. And now it's created a real nice pout. Those are just little tips and tricks that we have at our discretion that we use when we're applying professional makeup. And I'm going to hit, I think now that I've done that red, I just need to pop a little bit more of my blush there. And I still have my color on my brush because I touched it up a little bit. And let me see, I'm going to try to take my phone, there we go, out of my mirror so we can look up and take a look. And now I think I've gotten real close to that look, so I'm pretty happy with that. I love the green. I love doing different colors underneath my eyes. I just think it really pops things up. And on my green eyes, it's popping it a little bit more. And I believe that's my new favorite lip color. So I think it's really amazing. Hi, Shannon. How are you? Shannon, we still need to get together. I need to learn some braiding from the expert. So I'm going to shortly end this video, and you could all go back and watch it on replay, especially for those of you that are trying to learn how to do lashes. A lot of it is lots of practice along with the winged eyeliner. And again, just remember, when your eyes are closed, it may look totally different, but people want to see you with your eyes open, and they want to see how that looks. So I like to create that look so that when people are looking straight on at me, it looks great. And who cares what it looks like when your eyes are closed or looking down. So again, this one is very dramatic, very different. But it's a lot of fun. So if any of you have questions, if you want to share the video, that's great. I would appreciate it. Shannon, you're funny. There are some times during the day that my eyes are shut while I'm sitting here relaxing in between. But that's okay. I know that it needs to look a certain way when my eyes are open. Hi, Monica. I'm going to have you go back and watch the replay also. So I'm so glad that you've all joined me tonight. And again, if you want to purchase any of the products, tonight I used mostly LimeLight, not everything. I still have a lot of professional products at my hand, so I use a little bit of everything still. But I can tell you the bulk of my makeup today is by LimeLight. And if any of you wanted to shop some of the products, I'll actually go back and put in a comment what I've used from LimeLight, so that way you could go to my website directly and purchase if you'd like. If you have any questions or anything, I also do online teaching, so if you want to get together, we could do a FaceTime or Skype and we can go further. And Diana, I'm going to send you a liner so you can try it and play with it. So it was so nice seeing all of you again tonight, and I hope to see you. I'm going to do a tutorial again tomorrow night, so we'll focus on something a little bit different. Oh, great, Shannon. It'll help. Hi, Mike. How are you? So I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to take a picture and post it on Facebook so you can take a look and compare. And I hope to see you all tomorrow night again. Bye, Diana.